One of the most common things we hear from our parents, our bosses and those around us is we must work hard, work harder, and you'll get your rewards. That's a lie. It simply isn't true. There's no necessarily direct relationship between happiness and success and working hard, because the statement, work harder for success, misses a very crucial part of the equation. What are you working towards? If you work hard in the wrong direction, you're not going to be happy or successful. I can push a massive rock up a hill. That's pretty hard work, but it does nothing for my happiness and it does nothing for my success. And so a lot of us work blindly, very, very hard indeed. And we wonder, well, why don't I feel happier? Why aren't I more successful? Well, the answer is because your efforts have directed in the wrong direction. And that's the cruelest waste of all, because when you work hard, you're giving a lot of your most precious resource, and that's time. And that's one thing you can't get back. And therefore it's amazing that a lot of us spend very, very little time examining the question about where our efforts should be directed. For most of us, we work very, very hard at achieving someone else's dream. What do I mean by that? For most of us, what we think is the right path to direct our efforts is dictated by whatever in society is deemed as the most appropriate path at that time. In ancient Athens, that might have been being a philosopher. In 8th century Saudi Arabia, it would have been to be a religious scholar. In 21st century world, a lot of it is around the accumulation of wealth and power. This may well indeed be something that brings you happiness and makes you feel successful, but equally so for many people, it does not. Let's travel back to an ancient Greek philosopher, Aristotle, because I think he had some very important insights on this topic. He basically said that the highest form of human happiness, our apotheosis, would be where we maximize what we're uniquely good at doing. So a little bit like a hammer is meant to hit a nail or a saw cut through a piece of wood, he felt that things in the universe, natural objects, people, animals, they have their roles. They have things that they should maximize, and by maximizing their specific strengths and roles, they can achieve happiness. What is that for humans? Well, it's not just sensual pleasure. Things like food and all the rest of it, animals want these as much as human beings. And so for him, these can't be the ultimate answer. And therefore, just the sheer accumulation of wealth and power, if it's done with the objective simply to tack on good hedonistic experience after good hedonistic experience, going out, drinking, eating, traveling, whatever, ultimately will not maximize your potential as a human being, and therefore will not lead to the maximum satisfaction and happiness. So if you're investing all your time working hard in the accumulation of those pleasures, he feels you're going to fall far short of the mark. No, for him, Aristotle said that the main goal of a human being, or the main distinguishing feature of a human being, is rationality. And by living the rational life, by fully exploiting this ability, our capability for rational thought, that's where we can find our happiness as human beings. But what does he mean by rationality in this context? He doesn't mean Excel spreadsheets you do at work or taking IQ tests in your spare time. He means that human beings have a unique ability to contemplate the meaning of life and what brings life value. They can have dreams for the future. You can look back and reflect on the past and project that into the future. And so for Aristotle, it's the contemplative life that's the most important. But that's exactly what we do not do, because we take what's given to us by other people. We think that by following what society has deemed as the most appropriate path, we achieve our own success without contemplating it at all. But if you don't think, and you don't examine what the right course of action should be, what life truly means for you, what gives life purpose for you, then you haven't contemplated your life and you will not achieve happiness no matter how hard you work. This concept is common across most cultures and philosophical beliefs. In India, it might be called Dharma. It's called Ikigai in Japanese, your calling in England. The concept exists everywhere. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. And it's linked to my last video. When I said, think about what kind of person you should be, some people questioned, well, what if I don't know what kind of person I should be? Well, this is it. This is your life's task, is contemplating, trying to figure out, uncover what it is that gives your life a higher purpose. And it could be anything. It doesn't even have to be your job. Your higher purpose, for many parents, the higher purpose is provision for their children, or maximizing the amount of time it is they spend with their children. That doesn't necessarily mean they do the job that manifests their greatest purpose on this world because they feel their greatest purpose is elsewhere. For other people, their greatest purpose on this world is to produce beautiful pieces of art. For other people, indeed, it may well be, I enjoy eating and drinking and going out and traveling and tacking on those pleasurable experiences. But have a theory, at least examine it. Don't just take what anyone else told you and assume that that's the one and only answer, because I'm very confident to say that it's different for every person, and if you don't examine it, you won't find it. And so here's my message to all of you. Don't work hard at being successful at somebody else's life. First, pick what success means for you. Contemplate what success means for you, and then start working hard.